The grass is green, the lines have been painted, and the American flags fly throughout Carolina Stadium. That can mean only one thing. Carolina baseball is back in action. All that and more on this week's episode of Capital City Sports. Hey friends, and welcome to this week's edition of Capital City Sports. I'm your host, Brian Principe. Before we get into baseball, Nick Jones was at Colonial Life Arena for a matchup within the SEC between the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Missouri Tigers. He has all your coverage from Colonial Life Arena.
It's Tuesday here at Colonial Life Arena, and the South Carolina Gamecocks get ready to take on the Missouri Tigers. The Tigers have only won one game in SEC play, and the Gamecocks look to hopefully get a victory and gain some confidence to get ready to take on Kentucky on Saturday. Let's see how the Gamecocks fare against the Tigers. South Carolina has never beaten Missouri in men's basketball, and the Gamecocks look to change that in this game. Keith Schamberger would have the ball, and he dishes it down low to Williams, who misses the shot but can now post, would bounce it right back in, and Missouri has the first score of the game. South Carolina has the ball on their end of the court, and Sindarius Thornwell would drive it towards the basket and makes the and one. Later on, Dwayne Notice would pass it down low to Carrera, but he gives it right back to Notice, and he drains the three. The Gamecocks have the ball on a fast break, and Thornwell kicks it back out to Dwayne Notice in the corner, and Notice will once again make a shot from three land. Missouri's Schamberger has the ball and takes advantage of an open lane and drives towards the basket. He gets fouled but still manages to make the shot. Wes Clark of Missouri would have the ball at the top of the key and shoots a floater here, and the Missouri Tigers get themselves back in the game with this made shot. We fast forward to the second half, and Missouri takes advantage of a fast break, and Bello Deuce would take it up for the one-handed slam. South Carolina would get more aggressive with their outside shooting, and Brian Steele would make the shot from three-point range to get the Gamecocks ahead. Later on, Johnson would drive the ball in but found nowhere to go, so he takes a shot from the high post and sinks it in, and the Gamecocks are in control. But Missouri would not go away easily. The Tigers would swing the ball around the three-point line, and they find Jakeem Gant wide open, who makes his two-handed slam. With less than 3 minutes of play remaining, South Carolina looks to put the nail in the coffin, and they find Sindarius Thornwell, who makes the clutch three. The Gamecocks go on to win from here, 65-60. We now head to the press conference to catch up with Frank Martin.
We're a team trying to fight for confidence, fighting to reconnect with its identity that we had earlier in the year. League play makes it hard. But we've got some guys that are really, really trying.
Sindarius Thornwell proved to be one of the top shooters on Tuesday night and led the Gamecocks to victory. Coach Frank Martin is pleased to find Thornwell in the leadership role for this Gamecock basketball team. On Saturday, they take on the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington, Kentucky. For Capital City Sports, I'm Nick Jones.
Thanks, Nick. After the loss to UConn, South Carolina came back home to Colonial Life Arena for another matchup within the SEC against LSU. Kristen Whitaker was there for the coverage.
We're here this evening at Colonial Life Arena, where your Gamecocks women's basketball team takes on the LSU Tigers. After a loss Monday night against UConn, the ladies are looking here tonight for another victory, making that 29 wins here at home. Trailing in the first half, South Carolina's Ellen Ibrahim makes a layup that would start separation and end in the Gamecocks scoring the next 9 points. The scoring spree would end with a jumper by LSU's Rena Hill. After a tied game, the Gamecocks would come back with the lead with a beautiful three-point shot from Khadijah Sessions. The Gamecocks would then take a big lead, and Asia Wilson would step up into a leadership role, which would give the Gamecocks a huge advantage. Tiffany Mitchell here with a long jumper to put the Gamecocks ahead of the Tigers by 26 points. Then, with 19 seconds left before the half, Asia Wilson hits her first three-point shot as a Gamecock. The Gamecocks come back after the half, hoping to pull away from the Tigers. Again, Tiffany Mitchell with the layup, and Asia Wilson scoring her career high of 26 points, leading the Gamecocks on to take the victory. Let's hear what Khadijah Sessions has to say.
You want to get back out there. Of course, everybody hates losing. We really don't like losing, and we had to come back and impose our will in this game and show that we can bounce back from a loss, because we really haven't. That was our first loss of the season. I think, we answered. We could have answered a little bit better, but I feel like, we did get the win, another SEC win at home in front of a great crowd.
Well, there you have it. The Gamecocks win here tonight 86-62 against the Tigers. The ladies will be back here Sunday at noon to take on Vanderbilt. Here from Colonial Life Arena, I'm Kristen Winokur with Capital City Sports.
After a long and cold winter, finally South Carolina gets back on the baseball diamond for their first matchup of the year between College of Charleston. Chandler Mack will be buying me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks and taking me out to the ball game.
The Gamecocks opened their season up on Friday the 13th against College of Charleston, who they beat 4-2 the last time these two teams played. Will the Gamecocks be as successful this time? Let's take a look at some highlights. Center fielder Gene Cone got the Gamecocks' first hit of the season in the bottom of the first as he singled to right field. First baseman Colin Stagel got the Gamecocks' first stolen base of the season after he walked in the bottom of the first inning. To start the top of the second, College of Charleston third baseman Carl Wise flies out to right fielder Connor Bright. Jack Wynkoop got his first strikeout of the season, striking out Champ Rowland in the top of the fifth inning. However, College of Charleston second baseman Blake Butler singled to right field, advancing Ryan Brown to second and scoring Alex Pastorius. The Gamecock struggles continue as Carl Wise flies out to right field, advancing Butler to third and scoring Brown. College of Charleston scored their third run of the inning when center fielder Morgan Phillips singled to the shortstop, scoring Butler. After giving up 3 runs, Gamecock pitcher Jack Wynkoop ends the side by striking out Irvin Roper. In the bottom of the sixth, first baseman Kyle Martin strikes out swinging. After giving up 1 run and 2 hits in the top of the seventh, the Gamecocks got out of the inning after Carl Wise hit into a double play. To start the bottom of the seventh, infielder Patrick Harrington reached first on a throwing error by the third baseman, but he was still out at first due to a throw from the right fielder to the first baseman. In the top of the eighth, infielder Ryan Brown singled through the right side, scoring Bradley Jones and advancing Champ Rowland to second base. Blake Butler reached first base on a fielder's choice, and Champ Rowland was thrown out at third. The Gamecocks had a big eighth inning, which included this Alex Destino single to center field, which scored Max Schrock from third, but the rally ended after Patrick Harrington struck out swinging. The ninth inning was not kind to the Gamecocks either, and they failed to complete the comeback, losing the game 6-3. Unfortunately, the Gamecocks lost on Friday, which was the first time that they lost on opening day since 1998. The Gamecocks looked to rebound on Saturday in a doubleheader. Back to you, Brian.
After losing their home opener to UCF on Wednesday, South Carolina came back to the Carolina Softball Stadium for the Gamecock Invitational where they played UNC. Claudia Chikimi was there for the highlight.
South Carolina started the Gamecock Invitational on Friday by beating Appalachian State 5-0 and Presbyterian 9-6. They returned to the field to play UNC with 2 games on Saturday. Now let's take a look at the highlight. The Gamecocks scored first Saturday afternoon with a huge 2-run home run by Sarah Mooney. They lead 2-0 going into the second. UNC tried to advance their runners, but this double play by Nikki Blue, Lauren Masters, and Kaylee Snare stopped the Tar Heels from moving forward. Ansley Ard knocks one deep into left field for her first home run of the season. This extends the Gamecocks lead to 3-0 in the bottom of the second. With bases loaded, Kristen White hits an RBI groundout to third base. Ard returns to the box and hits a double to center field, bringing home Masters, but Snare would be thrown out at the plate. Olaney Page also adds to the Gamecocks' powerful third inning, hitting an RBI to center field. South Carolina now leads UNC 6-0. The Gamecocks played great defense all day, including this diving catch by Masters. With 2 runners in scoring position, Tracy Chandlis goes deep for the Tar Heels, cutting the Gamecocks' lead in half. South Carolina leads UNC 6-3 going into the bottom of the 4th. Blue continues to dominate all afternoon and threw 5 strikeouts in the game. In the top of the 7th, UNC tried to make a comeback, but their efforts were stopped by South Carolina defense. The Gamecocks come out on top, defeating the Tar Heels 6-3 in Game 1 of Saturday's doubleheader. Later in the afternoon, South Carolina defeated College of Charleston 5-4 after being down 4-0 in the first. South Carolina won all 4 games here this past weekend. The Gamecocks will travel to California next week for the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic beginning Thursday afternoon against LIU Brooklyn. For Capital City Sports, I'm Claudia Chikamian.
Saturday afternoon, South Carolina played a doubleheader to finish out the series against the College of Charleston. Stan Smith and John Dowdy were there for both games.
After a subpar performance Friday afternoon, the Gamecocks looked to get their first win of the season in the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday with Will Crow on the mound for the Gamecocks. Let's take it to the highlight.
We'll start things off in the top of the first inning. College of Charleston hits one deep into right field, but Connor Bright makes a great catch at the wall, ending the inning. In the bottom half of the first, Alex Destino hits a single over the first baseman's head, advancing the runners, and Kyle Martin scored on a wild pitch, making the score 1-0 Gamecocks. In the second inning, Will Crow dominated the Cougar batters, striking out all 3 in a 1-2-3 inning, keeping the score 1-0 heading into the bottom of the second. The Gamecock batters would go to work in the second inning, starting with sophomore Jordan Gore hitting a double and bringing in 2 runs. Center fielder Gene Cohn would assist in the scoring as well, as he would bring in 1 run on his single to center, as Gore would make a head-first slide at home plate, beating the throw by College of Charleston. Next, first baseman Kyle Martin singled to right center, bringing home Gene Cohn, and the score at the end of 2 would be 5-0 USC. Pitcher Will Crow would continue to put on a show, striking out a Cougar batter looking, and then another, ending the 4th inning with the Gamecocks up 5-1. The College of Charleston would make a great defensive play as shortstop Champ Rowland would heave one across the diamond, getting Bright out at first. In the 6th inning, Martin would once again bring home Cohn on a single to center field and advancing Max Schrock to third, making the score 6-1 South Carolina. Connor Bright would add to the scoring as he singled one to left field, bringing home Schrock, but Kyle Martin would be called out at the plate as he was beat out by the thrower, and the score after 6 would be 7-1 Gamecocks. Crow would end the day on a strikeout, marking his 10th K of the game, a career high. Later in the 7th, with Vince Fiore on the mound, South Carolina would record an outstanding 1-4-3 double play as the Gamecocks would continue to blank the Cougars. In the 9th, South Carolina would record a 5-4-3 double play, and for the final out of the game, Kyle Martin flipped the ball to Vince Fiore, and the Gamecocks would beat the Cougars 7-1 in the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday.
After taking the victory, the Gamecocks look to win the series 2-1 in the late game on Saturday. For Capital City Sports, I'm Stan Smith.
Yes, indeed, Stan. About 45 minutes later, Game 2, the doubleheader was played. The guys will look to take the grudge match from the College of Charleston.
Winds upward of 20 miles an hour. We're not going to keep South Carolina off the field. To the bottom of the 4th, Gamecocks down 2-0. Kyle Martin hits a double down the left field line, putting both himself and Max Schrock in scoring position to set up freshman third baseman Madison Stokes, who takes the 0-1 offering past the second baseman into center field, bringing home both Schrock and Martin, tying the game at 2. Same inning, Connor Bright's got bases empty, 2 outs, golfs one into right field. He finds the wind, carries out of the park, puts USC up 3-2 after 4 innings. That was Bright's first home run since his sophomore season. To the 6th, Alex Destino has 1 on, 2 out. He gets a pitch in his wheelhouse. Now that's not just a home run, folks. That cleared the second fence at the stadium. And now Alex is all smiles after his first collegiate home run. And the guys are loving it too. Taylor Widener would take over from there, recording 6 strikeouts over 2 2/3 inning of work, earning the save. The Bats would also come alive to put another 3 runs on the board, and the final out is a fly ball to Connor Bright, who puts it away with no problem. Final score at Carolina Stadium, 8-3.
With the sweep of the doubleheader, the guys continue their home dominance. They'll return on Tuesday to play the Furman Paladins. Reporting from Carolina Stadium, I'm John Dowdy with Capital City Sports. Let's send it back up to Brian.
And finally, we take it back to Colonial Life Arena, where Haley Anders has the report from the women's basketball game against Vanderbilt.
On Sunday, the Lady Gamecocks faced off against SEC opponent Vanderbilt. The Commodores came in with a record of 13-11. The Gamecocks would try to ignite their offense early on. Tiffany Mitchell here with a nice layup, but the Commodores would be taking the upper hand offensively. Thankfully, the Gamecock defense would wake up just in time to gain momentum near the end of the half. Asia Wilson here says, no ma'am. Gamecocks lead going into the half, 46-27. At the start of the second half, the defensive momentum carried over into the offense. Ella Ibram here with a nice jumper right outside the paint. And Elena Coates would follow suit with a very nice and one, giving the Gamecock offense the spark that they needed to carry their team to victory. The Lady Gamecocks would put the final nail in the coffin with this absolutely nasty pass from Bianca Cuevas to Asia Wilson. The Gamecocks dominated, coming out with a final score of 89-59. The Lady Gamecocks will face off against Arkansas on the road next Thursday. For Capital City Sports, I'm Haley Anders.
That's it for Capital City Sports. I'm Brian Principe. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at CCS on SGTV, and also check us out on Instagram at Capital City Sports. For all of us here at the show, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.